You hear Bigfoot, and most people think it's one thing. One creature of some folklore, one mythical being, sort of like the Yeti. There can't be just one. Washington has the most Bigfoot sightings of any state. That's what Bill had said only a few hours ago when we'd first arrived at our cabin. He'd unpacked, sat himself down by the fireplace, and took out a small book and buried his head inside it. A few moments later, he informed me of that interesting fact that he'd just discovered. Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, the elusive, ape-like creatures, solitary in nature, that avoid human contact and can potentially become aggressive. Okay, that's not my description. I know diddly squat about big feet. Bigfoots? Sasquatches? Whatever. You know what I mean. No, that description also came from Bill's book, but I'm just trying to paint you a picture. Is it that we think and speak things into existence? Or that the human mind is so complex and will never fully be understood, and that we all have some sort of ability to see something that's going to happen? Precognition. I mean, Bill's book was all about Bigfoots after all, and the sightings of them throughout the years across the state. Why would he bring that? It had clearly been on his mind. Much in the same way he'd been on my mind that day 5 years ago when I hadn't seen him since high school, and I suddenly bumped into him, literally, in the supermarket. It's like my mind knew it was going to happen. All of that, 5 years worth of precognitive events, all leading to this. Accumulating and Bill bringing that damn book, like he knew it was going to happen. It was meant to be a good trip, and just like that, turned into my worst nightmare. Now, Bill is dead. And I'm looking at this freak of nature. I'm tracking it with my rifle now. The monstrous ape, not Bill's book. I've got it dead in my sights. All I have to do is pull the trigger. But all that damn fur. And what exactly is beneath it? Skin, sure. But I've been to enough zoos and seen enough animals to know that it's that padded sort of skin, that pure muscle that other apes and gorillas have. And this is no ordinary ape or gorilla. This is a behemoth, at least 7 feet tall. It made our cabin look like a hermit's hut, and then it tore it apart with its bare hands, making it look a lot less like a hermit's hut and more like a child's plaything. And it had made Bill look like a rag doll, tore him apart like one too. It's still carrying Bill's decapitated head in one of its meaty paws. Heading out of the clearing, away from the destroyed cabin and into the trees. Do I take the chance and take the shot? If I do, and I kill it, then it's all good. But the way I see it, the balance of probabilities is stacked against me. If I hit it and only injure it, then I make it angrier than it already is, and it comes after me. A wounded animal is a dangerous one, and all that. And I can tell you it's true. If I hit it, I mean, there's no question I'm going to hit it. Even Bill was always envious of my aim. And its skin is basically padded armor stuff. Then I give away my location and it comes after me. The third option is hitting it and killing it. That is the only option that guarantees my safety. But how likely is it? I'd need to hit it in the head. But even then, these things must have skulls that would rival even titanium. Would it be better to go for the heart? The neck then. Can't go wrong, right? I draw a bead on him. His neck is thick and bulbous. But it's too late to doubt the impact of the shot again. He'll disappear into the trees at any moment, and then I won't know where he is. If I want to get off this mountain alive, and make sure Bill's family at least have some of him to say their goodbyes to, then I need to kill this thing. I keep my hands steady and straight, the aim fixed on that bloodthirsty beast's neck. It's pretty dark, but the moon is almost full and the stars are shining like glitter against the purple sky, so I can see the black-furred beast clearly against the woodland landscape, a gargantuan shadow stomping heavily with that circle in his hand. Bill's head. Don't think about that. Don't think about that. Focus on the neck. Focus on the neck. I fire. That moment seems to last an eternity, which sounds ridiculous because did you know that bullets travel twice the speed of sound? The naked eye cannot see the bullet travel. One moment it's inside the gun, the next it's in whatever you were aiming at. I think what made it seem to last longer was that it started raining as soon as I fired. Even if it started spitting, that would be enough to move my aim even slightly and ruin the shot. But this wasn't light rain. This was heavy. It hammered, thundered down. Ever feel like the world's against you? I'm certainly starting to feel that way. With the way things have gone since Marlene, and then Bill's BigFoot, and now the timing of this damn rain. My breath caught in my throat, and I thought I would choke and die right there and then. Then I thought I had to get up and run, but I had to see. I had to see if I'd got it. I move into a crouching position and squint. The shadow was still, but it was standing still. Was it suspended before the fall? Had the bullet just pinged off its armor-like skin? What? Its next movement made the breath escape my body, relieving the tension. It stumbled. It dropped Bill's head, and then it fell to the ground, on all fours. I had to be well over 100 yards away, and yet I could hear it huffing and panting. A low, guttural huff that quickly turned into a series of growls. It rose and started bounding towards me, without hesitation, without stopping. I rise myself and start to back off, but slowly. I need to see where I hit it. The angry animal tears through the broken cabin, breaking it down even further, and it appears on the other side, scaling the length of the clearing in seconds and disappearing into the trees below me. Just before it did, though, I caught a glimpse of its blood-soaked frame in the full beam of the moonlight. Its shoulder. I hit its shoulder. Its one arm is limp and unmoving. So maybe its skin and bones aren't that tough after all. I just need to hit it again. But that's going to be impossible. I'm on a slight incline above the maze of trees that the Sasquatch has just run into. The only option now is running. Exactly the position I did not want to be in. As I run, I think about the monster and how its existence has never been confirmed. A weird thing to think about when I'm possibly seconds away from being ripped to shreds. But the mind is a weird thing itself, isn't it? And I wonder how that can be. Hundreds of sightings, discarded as hoaxes or misidentifications. Let me tell you, it's a cover-up. The question is why? Why would they cover these beasts up? It doesn't make sense. Unless it's not a cover-up at all. It's just that they hide themselves so well. I think about what Bill had read to me earlier. Elusive ape-like creatures, solitary in nature, that avoid human contact and can potentially become aggressive. That's it. They just hide. And anyone who does come into contact with them, close enough contact to confirm that they do exist, simply don't live to tell the tale. I stop running at that thought. What good will running do me? I'm in its domain now, its lair. There's no way I can outrun or outsmart it by hiding. I've already injured it, I know that much. I just have to hit it again and hit it well this time. I unsling the rifle from my shoulder and point it out in front of me again. I didn't realize how dark it was inside the trees. I look up. The cluster of leaves and branches cut out most of the light from the moon and the stars. I can barely see. The trees are just black blotches against more blackness. I'm I'm going to have to hope I can see the mammoth shadow should it emerge, when it emerges. That, and no doubt I'll hear it. I take in long breaths through my nose, steadying my heart and my nerves. If my hands are shaking, what good am I? If my heart is beating so hard and so fast that it thrums in my ears, what good am I? I have to be ready for when this thing comes for me. The most Bigfoot sightings of any state. What exactly were these things? And how many of them were there? You hear Bigfoot, and most people think it's one thing. One creature of some folklore, one mythical being, sort of like the Yeti. But all those sightings, all across the states, how many? I keep turning in circles, pointing my rifle, my slow breathing out the window. Because now I'm not just up against one of these things. I'm up against a whole pack, a whole family of them. I'm sure of it. There can't be just one. Not in this woodland, not on this mountain. There can't be just one. Because the one has to come from somewhere, right? Where are you, you big ape? I cry out. The suspense, the anticipation. It's worse than the attack. There's no terror in the bang, only in the anticipation of it. Hitchcock said that. And I feel like I'm in one of his films right now. The isolated setting, the lone man, the silence, the wait, and the bang. I hear it stomping, huffing and puffing, and there's a snap as it pulls a branch off a tree and hurls it towards me. I dive out of the way and land on my side on the floor, clutching the rifle so hard that it stays pointed and aimed, because I know what comes next, and keeping the gun ready is pivotal. The giant shadow comes towards me, its snout parted to reveal its teeth as long and as sharp as kitchen knives, but I'm ready, and I fire, and its head explodes into a red mist, and just as it did earlier, its body lingers a while before it falls to the floor with an anticlimactic thud. It's a while before I move, and by the time I get back to the cabin, the sun is rising. I stay on guard for other monsters, but none come. It's the men in black who come. Police? FBI? Some other government agency? I don't know, and I don't care. They offer to take me home and say they'll take care of everything.